Hello my friends, welcome to a dark and gloomy day, which is the perfect background for picking my September TBR. Even though we are going to have some nice, bright, warm days coming up, once September starts, I want like all the gloom and cozy and that kind of thing. I wish I would have filmed my autumnal TBR before this video, but I didn't, so that will be coming. But I'm expecting a lot of autumnal vibes for the books that I pick. Although I am going to be using TBR cards again. I made myself a new stack for this month. The one that I made, I'm kind of like prepping for winter. I have a winter vibes one. I'm going to take that out. Other than that, I have all of these cards with a variety of different prompts that are going to help me pick my September TBR. And then hopefully I can kind of like mood read a little bit within these. But we have some different genres on here. Emojis, because I still have that like huge list of emojis that my patrons made for me that I could try to pick a book based off of. Indie, great for sentence. Yeah, lots of genres. Gifted, autumnal vibes, ebook, series, 5-star prediction. Similar to last month's, except I'm going to be pushing myself a little bit more in September than I was willing to in August. Time to get back into things, push myself a little bit more. Before we get started, I have a couple books I need to read. The first one being my Agatha Christie for the month for my Agatha Christie book club on Patreon. This month we are reading Destination Unknown, of which I have 2 copies of. And they're both Fontana books, both like very vintage, very strange covers based off of these. I have no idea what this is. Hilary Craven had finished with life. So when she was invited to impersonate the dead wife of a vanished nuclear scientist, she decided it might make a more interesting form of suicide than sleeping pills. But by the time she met her husband in a vast secret laboratory in Morocco, her wish to live had returned. Okay, last month for August we read a book set in 2000 BC in Egypt, and now we're going to Morocco. I don't know which version I should read it out of. I might just go with whichever one feels better in my hands. But these covers, especially this one, like what? Yeah. I don't know. They're so tacky. I love them. So I'm going to be reading an Agatha Christie. I have been enjoying lately reading the first sentence of the books that I'm reading. So this one says, "The man behind the desk moved a heavy glass paperweight 4 inches to the right." Sounds a little anal. Doesn't sound super intriguing, but Agatha Christie generally does not have great first sentences, so that doesn't mean anything. And then I have my Read Your Bookshelf challenge as well, and for the rest of the year I'm trying to go on the Doyle side since I went on the Montgomery side for the first half. I made it a little bit more complicated this year. If you still want to join in on the challenge, I have a whole video sharing about that. But for Doyle, it was like a book with puzzle ciphers or a mystery type thing. And I think with my last book haul, I was told that a book that I hauled, it is fantasy, but it has some kind of puzzles or ciphers or something. And so I'm gonna pick that one. And that was What If We Met in a Bookstore by Callie McClay. And this one, I think it's a portal fantasy where we have a main character that is in her favorite bookstore. When an array of riddles comes into her possession, they trigger a memory from a time she disappeared without a trace. So, I don't know. And then there's another character who is a successful escape room artist who is striving to build a career from crafting unique puzzles. This isn't what I was thinking when I created the challenge, and I was thinking codes and ciphers and puzzles. I was thinking more like actual mystery, but I mean, I'm in my fantasy phase, so this sounds good. So I'm gonna add this for the Read Your Bookshelf challenge. For this first sentence, I think I read it. Oh yes, I did read it on my book haul. "I'm not fond of early mornings." I read the whole first paragraph in my video, so I'm super excited about this one. Then my patron of the month gave me 2 options, and I've decided on one that was on my TBR, I think in the summer, July maybe, that I never got to. And that book is Half a King by Joe Abercrombie. Wow, I know how to say his last name. I read this, like the first chapter a while ago for try a chapter, I think on Patreon, and it was really intriguing. I don't know if his writing will be for me, but sometimes watching Murphy's videos, even though I know her and I have different tastes. Sometimes she sways me to pick up a book, and so I found this one. Thought I would give it a try. I think this might be a part of a series, although I'm not 100% sure. And I do remember from the first chapter, our main character finds out he's to become king. He's like the prince, and I think his father died. I don't remember the details. Oh, here we go. Right, like this, the first chapter is like 5 pages. So some guy comes in, his uncle dropped to his knees, hands on the greasy straw. He bowed his head and spoke 2 words, low and raw, my king. And Yarvi knew his father and brother were dead. So that was intriguing to me, but I never did pick it up. So I'm going to add that one to my stack. The first sentence though for this was, there was a harsh gale blowing on the night Yarvi learned he was a king. Okay, so these are the 3, although it looks like 4 books I have to read. There's also the Christian booktuber group that I'm a part of that we, Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails spins a wheel for us each month and a genre gets picked and we're supposed to read a book in that genre. I took a major break while we were moving, but this month the genre was science fiction. And there's like a toss-up. I intentionally bought a book for this and then realized I have some other books that I should maybe read instead. So I went ahead and I bought Guardian because we're trying to read like a Christian book in that genre. Since it's science fiction, Guardian is the last in a series that I haven't read, the last one yet. But then The Visitation by Frank Peretti is on my fiction books I want to read this year. So I should probably read that. I also have Monster that I would like to reread. This would be perfect for like probably October, but yeah, maybe I'll leave that one for October. Let's put that one away. So I kind of feel bad if I don't read this one, but I would love to finish off a series. So this would also be good for October. Frank Peretti, his books are October books. Let's go with Guardian. So this is book 3 in a sci-fi series where we follow a woman who is a recorder, which means she was gifted, I don't know the right word, her family sent her to this place to become a recorder. They groomed her from a young age to be unbiased. They shave all their hair, so they're kind of like non-identifiable. They don't give them a name, and things happen at the beginning of the book where it like radically changes her life. And so yeah, book 3, not a whole lot I can say because lots has happened, but I think I can read the first sentence because I read this one as well in my last book haul. Sub-zero surface air hissed through the closed hangar doors. Its sulfur burning my nose and its cold creeping through my inadequate black jacket. And so what I remember is I really loved book 1. Book 2, I forgot our characters a bit, and they started using like first names and or last names. So I know going into this I need to make a character list. I need to go back, make a character list of first and last names so I can remember who's who. And I think that will help me. But I'm so curious to see where this goes and wrap up a series, which I will probably read this in a video trying to wrap up more series. So there we go. Those are the books that are like already on my stack before going into my TBR cards, which I'm going to shuffle a little bit. I tried to make the cards book like prompts that I want, but also, and genres that I like, but also some to push me out of my comfort zone. So there's quite a few here. Try to fan them out, and I will randomly pick. And I'm only going to use each of these once, so I'm not, whatever gets picked is not going back in. What's this say? Oh, okay, we went for a classic right off the bat. I purposely have not picked up a classic in a little while because I just needed a break. Now I need to pick one. Okay. I am not doing well with my classics TBR for the year, so this is good. This is good. And it might span more than 1 month. There are a couple different ways or places I could go for this. I think what would probably be the best is to read a book that I could use for my DIY literature degree, since in September I'm going to be switching over into year 2, but I want to do a little bit more for year 1. So then I don't even remember what I all had for that. Let me just pull up my whole plan. I have it on Notion. my DIY literature degree. I think I was doing the Victorian era. Let's see here, year 1. Victorian period. So I could do a Charlotte Bronte, I could do a Thomas Hardy, Elizabeth Gaskell, George Eliot, Wilkie Collins. Oh, there's a lot that I could do. Okay, I should probably, although I'm gonna read a Victorian book in October anyway for Victober. That's usually what I try to do. Okay, we'll pick one that's been on my TBR for quite some time. I've had this, I think, since before I even started book 2, but The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. I've heard good things. Some people say The Woman in White is better, some people say this is better. This is the legendary Moonstone diamond is given to a spirited Rachel on her 18th birthday, the gift of an uncle who came by it dishonestly. Originally plundered from a sacred statue in an Indian temple, the diamond is said to bring misfortune to those who prevent its return to the spiritual guardians. So, what is the first sentence of chapter 1? Oh, chapter 1 is super short. It's like less than half a page. I addressed these lines, written in India, to my relatives in England. Yeah, okay, well, not the greatest first sentence, but we'll see if I can get this read in September or if it carries through to October. I want to push myself to read more classics, but I don't want to beat myself up over it as well. It's like trying to find that balance. Okay, well, I feel like we picked the hardest one off the stack, so then once again, this makes this easier. There's too many that kind of clump together. Let's go for one kind of in the middle. This one? An ebook. Okay, we are just pushing me out of my comfort zone. Well, I am trying to get better with reading ebooks, and every month for the next little bit I'm trying to do a full week where I focus on reading ebooks. So I've got Jared's Kindle here, which I'm going to take a look at the library and see what I have available on his device, because I have a bunch on my device, but they're not all on his. Okay, so I think I should probably do a Kindle Unlimited book to try to get the most use out of that. I think one that I'm going to go with that I have been wanting to read for a while, I follow her on Instagram. Trying to get to the cover. Do I just need to turn it off? I think it's just being very, very slow. Okay. The one I'm going to try is A Crown of Chains by Erin Phillips. This is like a little bit of an Esther retelling, but fantasy, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I've been very, very curious, and she was one of the winners of the Realm Awards last year, I think. And the Realm Awards, like, their books are pretty top tier, so that's going to be my ebook. Unfortunately, I can't like stick this card in here, but I'm going to go for that one. The first sentence says, wild griffins could be tamed more easily than your curls, Roxana. Okay, let's see. I want to pick like, let's see here, 2 or 3 more, depending how easy or hard these next ones are. This one, a middle grade. Okay. I have not read a middle grade for a long time, and it's about time that I actually did. A middle grade I could read. Should I continue a series or should I start a new series? I really want to start a series, but I should continue a series. Okay, so a middle grade series that I'm reading is Dead City. There's 3 books in the series. I should read book 2 so I can get close to finishing here. Blue Moon is book 2. This is a, like, Manhattan, I think, has zombies underneath it. Just in Manhattan. And our main character, she hangs out at a morgue and she finds out about this. Oh wait, New York City is full of zombies. And Molly, oh yeah, that's a spoiler. Can't say that. Okay. I won't say much. Okay, I can read the prologue without spoilers. It says, Countdown. I've never had much luck when it comes to New Year's resolutions. Wait, the next sentence is kind of funny. Last year I only lasted 3 days before realizing I couldn't survive in a world without junk food. Okay, I gotta read the whole paragraph. This is the problem. This book is like, these books are so funny. And the year before that, when my sister and I promised not to argue anymore, we didn't even make it to the end of my dad's New Year's Eve party. I'll spare you the gory details, but fruit punch and guacamole were involved. So was dry cleaning. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I don't even know why I like avoid books, because I know these ones are hilarious. Last time I was cracking up over the chapter titles. I don't know if this one will have as funny of titles, but I really enjoyed book 1. About time I read book 2. Since that one was middle grade and will be an easy read, I'll do 2 more. So shuffle them around. Let's see, what is this one? A great first sentence. Okay, so I just have to pick up a couple books I'm interested in and read the one that has the better sentence. Okay, 3 books, quite different books. We'll see which one has the best sentence. We got The Queen's Resistance. So this is the sequel to The Queen's Rising. Once again, this would help complete a series. Beautiful map inside. And a family tree. Helpful. Sentence 1. The castle was brimming with laughter and dinner preparations when Cartier and I entered the hall. Blue passion cloaks on our backs. The night breeze tangled in our hair. Not an interesting first sentence in my opinion. Okay, I was wondering about Her Darkest Secret by Jessica R. Patch. Stacy from Wandering with Stacy raved about this recently, and so wanted to give it a try. Prologue. Here, kitty kitty. What's the first sentence for chapter 1? I don't know if prologues count. When this monster entered my brain, I will never know, but it is here to stay. Special Agent Fiona Kelly scanned the packed Loyola Stadium seating classroom. Neither of these are like super great, like the prologue or the first chapter, and neither was this. I'm gonna maybe go like this, but I don't feel confident. The other one I picked up is The Enchanted Lies of Celeste Artois. Still need to figure out how to say that one. 1913. Paris past midnight is a magnificent creature, conjured from curving iron and cafe lamps. Yes, I love that vivid description. This is definitely going to be the best first sentence out of all of them. So this one is a historical fantasy set in Paris in the 1900s. I don't know if we're gonna go like, if we're gonna switch timelines at all. I don't really know what to expect, but I've given all of Ryan Groudon's books like a really high rating, so I expect the same from this. That's exciting. So then one last one to finish it off, whatever this one says. A 5-star prediction. Oh, I feel like this was fairly easy today. Well, I guess I got classic. A 5-star prediction. You know, because it is going to be September, kind of like going for some cozy, some mystery, what I would really like to read and what I feel like would be a 5-star prediction is the next Mrs. Polifax book, if I own it. I don't know which one that is though. So what is the next one I have not read is Mrs. Polifax on a China Station, which I do own, I think. Let's see. Yes. Another one with like a terrible cover. Oh, these books, they're so funny. America's most unlikely and endearing spy challenges the inscrutable Chinese in this wonderful new adventure. We have gone with Mrs. Polifax to Mexico, a lot behind the Iron Curtain, Africa, and now China. This is like the first Asian one. Once again, Mrs. Polifax, the cheerful, cozy little woman with a flyaway white hair and a penchant for old hats, is plunged headfirst into another hair-raising CIA mission. That describes this whole series perfectly. Posing it as a tourist in China, Emily Polifax meets the sinister challenges of the Orient to safeguard a treasure for the CIA and all but loses her life in the bargain. What does this first sentence say? Mrs. Polifax sat in Carstairs' office with a cup of coffee in one hand and a sandwich in the other. Her hat, an inverted bowl of blue felt with such a cockeyed twist to its brim that Bishop guessed it had been frequently sat on and squashed. Not the best first sentence, but that does describe Mrs. Polifax. She is an elderly lady that kind of accidentally got involved in the CIA, or accidentally on their part. She fully intended to. I'm looking forward to joining her on another mission. secret life goal go to all the places that she travels in her books. So looking at my stack for the month, there is a bit of a green and black kind of vibe going. That looks pretty good. I'm excited about these books. I'm curious to hear what you guys are reading in September, any specific themes that you've got going on. I do have a readathon announcement coming for October. Stay tuned for that really soon, especially if you like cozy things. That's my hint. Yeah, and let me know what you guys are reading in the month of September.